So far in January of 2022, as you can see on Mark13News.com, the Ezekiel 38 Confederacy continues to formulate as a result of the two warring factions of Kenites within the shadow government thereof, which is symbolized by the he-goat of Daniel chapter 8. Going back to an article linked up on January 1st, Russia's foreign minister claims NATO exists to colonize post-Soviet nations, and Russia's foreign minister also has said repeatedly that a multipolar world order is now being formed, as opposed to a unipolar world order, and within that are the two warring factions of Kenites, controlling both Edom, which means red, as well as the unipolarist left-right paradigm symbolized by Ammon and Moab, in my opinion. The more the West is used to go against Russia and their allies, the closer they'll grow geopolitically, with Turkey and Armenia, who are most likely Gomer and Togarmah, working toward normalizing ties with each other, while the United Kingdom and Australia have just pledged to build on AUKUS, which is the security pact between Australia, the United Kingdom, and the United States, which is a step toward the Lion of Daniel chapter 7 that will come into being as part of the so-called New World Order at the woe of the fifth trumpet, after the great horn of the he-goat of Daniel chapter 8, which is the United Nations, in my opinion, gets broken, so to speak, which is the same thing as the destruction of the one who sends a raiser of taxes in Daniel 11:20 when you properly translate the verse. The raiser of taxes being the Paris Climate Accord, which was brought about by the United Nations. And also, as you can see on Mark13News.com, Ethiopia and Libya continue to show up in the headlines, which are also countries listed in Ezekiel 38 that will become part of the bear of Daniel chapter 7 at the woe of the fifth trumpet, when the one world political system comes into being, that you can read of in Revelation 13. Until then, nation will continue to rise against nation, meaning the goat fig nation will continue to rise against itself through multipolar versus unipolar globalism, as you can see from articles like the one linked up on January 11th on Mark13News.com under the headline America's Attempt to Build a Unipolar World, as well as the one linked up on January 17th under the headline A Move Towards a Multipolar World, as the robbers of thy people, as the Kenites are called in Daniel 11:14, continue to exalt themselves to establish the vision of a one world government, that is to say, but they shall fall. And that word translated as fall in the Hebrew in this case means to fail, because there will be no new world order, as it's called, until the woe of the fifth trumpet, when Satan and his angels get cast to earth, which is when the he-goat of Daniel chapter 8 becomes the leopard of Daniel chapter 7, symbolic of the Kenites and their four hidden dynasties of education, economics, politics, and religion, which will at that point provide the infrastructure of the so-called New World Order, which is the first beast of Revelation 13, having a mouth as the mouth of a lion and feet as the feet of a bear, but then the deadly wound transpires, after which the second beast of Revelation 13 appears, which is Satan in his role of Antichrist, and then it goes from being a one-world political system to a one-world religious system, which is the Babylon of the end times that lasts 2.5 months or 70 evenings, which is what the 70 years in captivity to the Babylon of old were a type of.